Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to James's Snooker Nation, the home of snooker. And in today's video, we're looking at the Tour Championship 2024. Yes, the Tour Championship is the last event in the Players Series this year on the calendar for the snooker season. It's going to be taking place between the 1st and the 7th of April at Manchester Central. Can't wait to get into this. Let's get straight into this. You guys know how this works already. We're going to be looking at the whole format of the event, favourites, predictions, more. So let's get straight into it. Yes, this is the last ranking event, guys, before the World Championship. I can't wait. I'm really excited now. And this is going to be a good tournament. You know, we're seeing now for the first time in this tournament 12 of the top players on the 1 year list instead of the normal 8, which we have seen before. And it's quite a big prize money. We've got £500,000 on offer in total in the pots. So we saw last year Shaun Murphy beating Kyren Wilson in the final 10-7. But unfortunately, Shaun hasn't been able to qualify for this event this year. And he's actually placing 22nd on the 1 year ranking list. So he's had quite a bad year. Obviously means he can't defend his title, which was much the same as in the Players Series Championship back in February. So this is the first time that the event has had 12 of the top players on the 1 year list instead of the normal 8. And some people like it, some people don't. Let's have a look at how it's going to work, because obviously with 12 players, you've got a bit of a mismatch in terms of how people are going to line up with each other and stuff like that. So we'll come straight over to the draw. Now, it's the top 12 on the 1 year list. So actually, let's take a look at the seedings first. We know Judd Trump, I mean, what a season he has had so far. 711,000 ranking points there. And Ronnie O'Sullivan obviously had a very good season as well, but we can see that the kind of gulf in points between first and second there. We've got Zhang Anda, Ding Junhui representing China, Mark Allen, the only guy from Northern Ireland. Gary Wilson had quite a good season as well for his standards. Barry Hawkins. We'll move on to Barry Hawkins in a little bit. I was quite surprised actually to see Barry in this list, but I'll tell you guys why in a little while. Then we've got Mark Williams, the only Welshman, in the top 12. Tom Ford, again, has had a fantastic season, and for the first time in his career has qualified for the Crucible as a seed, which is fantastic for him. Ali Carter, Mark Selby, and John Higgins, all up there in the top 12 places, battling out for the Tour Championship title. So all the matches are best of 19. Thank God for that. The best of 19 matches, you know, they always bring out the better kind of results. You don't get these kind of crazy upsets over kind of best of 9s, stuff like that. So really great to see that. And so let's get cracking with the draw. So as mentioned a little while ago, the draw and the format is slightly changed because there's 12 players instead of 8. So the top 4 seeds, as you can see, go straight through to the quarterfinals. Judd Trump will be playing the winner of Mark Williams or Tom Ford. Now, that's an interesting matchup in itself, actually, in the first round here. Mark Williams versus Tom Ford, because Tom Ford has only ever beaten Mark Williams on one occasion. We know that Mark Williams has had a pretty good season for his standards. You know, he won the British Open. And Tom Ford, I mean, he's been playing well. Got to the final of the International Championship, but obviously lost 10-6 to Zhang Anda. So, I mean, yeah, Tom's had a good season, but if I had to put my money on it, I would have to say Mark Williams for this game. Like I say, Tom Ford has only ever been able to beat Mark Williams once in his whole career. So, yeah, the winner of that match, like I said, will play arguably the player of the season, Judd Trump. We'll move on to Judd Trump in a little while, but what a season he's had. I mean, you cannot fault the guy, and he's just relentless at the moment. But anyway, moving on to the second game in the first round, which is going to be Mark Allen versus John Higgins. Interestingly, and this is via snooker.org, this stat, that they are 13-13 in a head-to-head. So whoever wins this match will go, obviously, one up on the other. But that is so close. This match has got a decider written all over it. That's a fantastic match. You need to, if you can, watch that match. It's going to be gritty safety from the word go. And, yeah, I'm really excited to see how that one turns out. Mark Allen having a fantastic season as well. We know he won the Champion of Champions back in November. He's also won the Players' Championship, the kind of precursor to this in the Players' Series back in February. So it's a really difficult one to call. I mean, we know John Higgins has had quite a good season. He's reached 6 semi-finals, hasn't been able to win any of them. But yeah, I just can't call that one. I really can't. I'm going to leave that. But the winner of that will play World Open finalist Ding Junhui. We saw him go to the World Open last week and lose to Judd Trump. Didn't play very well in that final, but whoever wins that has got to play what looks like a more informed Ding Junhui at the moment. Now, Gary Wilson versus Mark Selby for me is a formality. I know that Gary Wilson has been playing really well this season, and some people are even backing him for the World Championship this season, but I think Mark Selby, always at this time of the season, he finds his form before the Crucible. And in terms of head-to-heads, Mark Selby has won 8 out of 9 occasions. The only time, actually, that Gary Wilson, by the way, has beaten Mark Selby was in the 2019 World Championship quarterfinal, where he won 13-10, which is interesting because obviously these games in the Tour Championship are all best of 19, so they are over a slightly longer format, and most of the times that Selby's beaten Gary Wilson has been over the kind of shorter format matches. So yeah, I think Mark Selby will take this one. And by the way, the winner of that match will play Zhang Anda in the quarterfinals. Barry Hawkins versus Ali Carter. Interesting match. The winner will play Ronnie O'Sullivan. Now, my heart tells me I really want to see Ali Carter because we all know how great Ronnie O'Sullivan versus Ali Carter matches can be. They've got a lot of fire in them. But let's talk about Hawkins versus Carter. Now, I mentioned it earlier in the video. I'm kind of surprised that Barry Hawkins is in this list and so high up. He's ranked 7 on the 1 year list. Now, in terms of the season that he's had so far, he did win the European Masters. He beat Judd Trump 9-6, which was a fantastic result for him. And he also got to the semi-finals of the Northern Ireland Open, as well as a Champion of Champions. So maybe I'm kind of forgetting that the start of the season that he had was so good, but I think he's really tailed off. I don't think he's reached a semi-final, maybe not even a quarter-final since sort of late last year. So I could be wrong on that, by the way, but I don't think that his form at the moment is as good as it was at the start of the season. Of course, he'll be wanting to find some form for the Crucible, but I don't think Barry's going to win this. I think Carter's definitely looking like more of the player that can take on this occasion. He'll probably want to win to be able to have another chance of beating Ronnie as well in the quarters. In terms of Ali's season, he lost obviously 10-7 to Judd Trump in the Wuhan Open back at the start of the season, and we saw him lose 10-7 to Ronnie in the Masters as well. So maybe this is his way of sort of getting one up on Ronnie, getting one back. Obviously losing in that Masters final would hurt him a lot. These tournaments are always so difficult to call in terms of winners, and I don't know who's going to win this. I mean, Judd Trump, obviously he's won 5 titles this season. I think he's going to use this more of a bit of a practice for Sheffield. I think he'll be quite satisfied for how his season's gone so far, and I'm not sure he'd be ultra fussed about actually lifting the title on this. Kind of eyes are going to be set for Sheffield now and picking up that second title of his career. But I do think that he might be able to go far and just win it. He looks like he's in cruise control and can kind of do anything at the moment. We've also got to talk about Ronnie O'Sullivan. Kind of looks like he can win if he wants to. If he's in the mood, he can beat anyone and beat anyone with ease. I mean, we saw it. Was it 4-0 in the Saudi Invitational against John Higgins, where John didn't score a point? I think he got 4 points from a foul that Ronnie made, but apart from that, didn't score a single point. I mean, to do that against one of the greatest of all time, John Higgins, is just phenomenal. So, yeah, I think if Ronnie wants to turn it on, he can, and he likes these kind of events, playing the best in the world. Again, going to use it as a practice session for Sheffield. We'll just see how that goes. Judd and Ronnie could potentially meet in the final, of course, because they are on separate sides of the draw as well. So I was pretty close with my prediction with Ding Junhui last week for the World Open. I'm going to go this week for Mark Selby to win the Tour Championship title. You know, Selby is so good over long formats, and he normally finds form around this time of the season. So I really do fancy him to go all the way. He's not got some easy matches, by the way. If he beats Gary Wilson, he's got to beat Zhang Anda in the quarterfinals, and then he'd have to go on to beat either Ronnie O'Sullivan and the winner of Barry Hawkins versus Ali Carter. So definitely not an easy route to the final, but again, top 12 players of the season, you're never going to have easy games. But yeah, definitely Mark Selby, one to watch out for. I think he's finding form of late. Obviously, he won the Champions of Champions as well. Did really well there. So yeah, definitely Mark Selby. He is my tip for this tournament. So where can you watch this tournament? It's always a question I get asked, and I'm going to tell you guys. If you're in the UK, you can watch it on ITV, and if you are anywhere else in the world, I will put a link in the description for you guys so you can check it out and make sure you can catch the action next week. Make sure you head over to my social media. I've got Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok posting daily content, keeping you guys up to date with all the snooker news. And don't forget to like this video if you did enjoy. And please subscribe, guys, for more snooker content. And I'll see you for the World Championship preview.